Okay, hi, I'm Lisa Broyles,
And I'm Alex Van Campen.
and we're doing our project on the skinhead culture. We chose the skinheads because we hold a negative stereotype against the culture. My feelings of the skinheads is that they are a hate-based culture that feel that the white culture is far superior than anyone else out there, that they solely base their opinion on the skin color, and if you are not like them or one of them, then they do not accept you as a human being. So that is my feeling upon the skinheads. How's that?
For my part, I see the skinhead culture as inherently racist and intolerant of other cultures. At the same time, they try to paint themselves as a defensive movement, stating that they only wish to preserve the white race. It is this intolerance that I find so intolerable.
For part 2, we started an interview with our subject.
Okay.
Good.
The subculture I'm a part of, I prefer the term subculture. There's a lot of myths and rumors and stereotypes involved with it. And if there's one thing that I think the general public or the culture at large should know is first and foremost, the skinhead subculture is not racist. It was born from the emergence of black West Indian immigrants and white East London working class cultures, and it broke off from an existing subculture, the mods. Their early music, which is what kind of everybody rallied around, consisted of soul and a certain kind of reggae called skinhead reggae and ska and rock steady music, which was all Jamaican-based music. So by its definition at its inception, it's an inherently non-racist, if not an anti-racist subculture. Basically, like I said, the skinhead subculture was created roughly late 60s in East London. And it's a working class subculture that basically, at that time, it was a real economic downturn. England was suffering from a lot of, factory jobs were being shipped away and a lot of basically economic hardship. So over in England, it's a more stratified society. You're born into the working class and you die in the working class, more so than here, or at least back then that was true. So kids were bored, they needed something to do. Like we had rock and roll here, they had it there, but this was a particular subculture that arose from the emergence of these working class West Indian immigrants. Like I said, they listened to ska and reggae, and then they listened to something called Northern Soul, and the whites kind of fused onto their culture and their music, and then out of that grew the skinhead movement or subculture, whatever you want to call it. And because of that, people think it's a Nazi thing or it's a racist thing, but it's not. The racist myth or stereotype comes from the second wave of the skinhead movement, which kind of had a resurgence when punk rock came about in England and America. And from that movement, there were some skinheads who were angry, disenfranchised, white working class youth. And there was a party called the British National Party over in England who kind of exploited these angry white working class for votes and to do some of their dirty work. And at that point, some bands went to the right and adopted that ideology, and at that point, it kind of splintered in two. So you have the two major factions, what most people refer to as like a traditional skinhead, which is what I am. We find our roots in that 60s movement that I was talking about. And then you have the right-wing, racist, fascist, Nazi skinheads that honestly we don't even consider to be skinheads. We call them boneheads.
Unfortunately, we were unable to attend any events, and our subject was unwilling to go further in depth about his culture. Our research into the skinheads, we discovered one group called the Volksfront, meaning the People's Front in German. Founded in 1994 by one Randy Krager, there are 11 chapters and over 12,000 members worldwide. They are known by the clothes they wear, like bomber jackets, combat jeans, and steel-toed Doc Martens. The laces in the shoes also mean something, such as the white laces means white power. The red laces means that blood was shed. They have a drink they call mead, which is made up of honey, water, and yeast, and they drink it from a ram's horn, which is shared when they have a get-together. Punk rock is the music of choice, and most of the bands are made up of skinheads themselves. Tattoos also represent what they believe, and some members like to use their tattoos for intimidation. It's also a form of art in their culture. Values are such that they want the white race to stay pure. They also believe that the pop culture does not value the white race as they do. They also believe that the whites are to become extinct, or becoming extinct, with all the races that are mixing. They are an exclusive group, and in order to become a member, you will have to show loyalty, as in following their norms and values. They will not let people in that were involved in such crimes like elderly abuse, a drug addict, or a rapist. They maintain the idea that they don't promote violence, claiming they will resort to it only in order to defend themselves or their fellow members. They look at the group as a family, meaning they take care of their own. The leader said the members will not go without a home, food, or any means to live. Membership is a lifetime commitment, and those who try to get out are severely punished. Meanwhile, those who violate the norms are booted out. I went into this thinking that we were going to be talking with a racist and violent person, and that their whole belief system is based on hate. I was, to say, a little bit nervous going into it, but it was mostly because of the unknown. But I knew that I would not be in harm's way. After speaking with Tom, I was very surprised to learn the roots of the skinheads are very multicultural in some side groups. He is from a group called SHARP, Skinheads Against Racial Prejudice. For him, it's all about the music, but he does sport some of the same kind of clothing the others wear. Has my feelings changed about this since the meeting? Not really, because I still believe that there are people out there that are involved in the hate groups as the skinheads.
This project has been interesting for me, to say the least. I definitely came into this thinking we're going to be interviewing an irrational racist bigot. But Tom Jones was a very calm man who happened to belong to an anti-racist side group called SHARP, Skinheads Against Racial Prejudice. I was surprised to hear about the multicultural roots of the skinheads, forming from a synthesis of Jamaican and British pop culture from the time of the 60s. But my mind hasn't been changed. I think that there's still a reason why they're called a racist group. Okay.